So we did have the pre-orders for Destined Rivals yesterday, which went as well as you'd probably expect. Now, obviously, eBay is flooded with everything. We went through a video yesterday or the day before of whether really you should be investing in Destined Rivals or opening. And to be honest, I'm still standing by it. Once we get into Journey Together, we will see a little bit more about it. But obviously, going from the Pokemon Center website, I didn't expect to get anything. I think bots pretty much took everything out. I saw queues going up till 4, 5 p.m. and pretty much everything was gone by 10, 11 a.m. by some people's kind of information as such. Don't know how true that could be because I wasn't even in the queue. I was kind of looking through and saw that the queue was there. You obviously saw many people posting about it on X, on Instagram, all of that jazz, YouTube and Shorts. So you kind of knew that that was going down. And if you do go over to the Pokemon site, you can kind of see already the first few products are all gone. Pretty much everything from the past few times now has just gone instantly. We obviously knew that the Pokemon Center ETB was definitely going to go. Not only do I think the product absolutely bangs, like that product is incredible if you are a collector or like to show artwork of a certain box. The difference between the Elite Trainer box from the Pokemon Center and the normal one being the red and black versus the black and red is incredible for a collection piece. If you are looking to display it, that is fantastic. But obviously what a lot of people are going to try and do is sell the boxes instantly. We saw Journey Together come out at the moment at around $260 to $280. So we're looking at what, £240 to £250 on release day. People are suggesting that this more than likely goes up to about a $300 box instantly from launch on Friday. I know there's a lot of product already being open. I saw something from one of the YouTubers, somebody selling, and they had 15,000 packs. They've obviously dumped them from boxes, but 15,000 packs, which is outrageous that they've managed to get holds of that, because if you think there's 36 packs in each box, to get up to around 15,000, it is kind of a ballpark figure. They are looking to sell packs at $9 a pack, and you must buy 1,000 at minimum. So they're looking at pretty much $9,000 per box. You can do the maths of how many boxes you'd have had to have opened. If you struggle to do the maths, do 15,000 divided by 36, and that will give you the lovely number of how many boxes that is. Now, when it comes to this sort of product, it's gonna happen around the same. Like, I think in general, this set probably seems more anticipated, or at least more demanded, than the Journey Together. I love the Journey Together set list. It looks incredible, but the Destined Rivals does look like it's going to have that massive hype behind it. Not only getting the Rocket set back, as well as more Battle Partners, Journey Together cards, or is it partnered Pokemon in this set as well, is obviously going to do incredible. We obviously have got a few different bits of information from it. Obviously from the product itself, we obviously know that there's obviously going to be hopefully more printing coming. We've seen a few more cards coming from the Team Rocket set. Obviously we see a lovely Ampharos now coming in, which looks obviously incredible. I love the Ampharos set. In general, we saw it in the Dark Ampharos from the Team Rocket's return, but I am loving the Ampharos from, I want to say it's like Gym Heroes, or one of the Neos, I think it was, that was just a classic nostalgia hit for myself. We also saw the Wobbuffet come into play now, and I'm hoping this is what the promo card is, because we don't know specifically what the promo card is for the ETBs yet. We just know that it is going to be a Wobbuffet. This would be incredible, especially in any ETBs. Obviously, the Pokemon Center version is going to go crazy for this. Like, the artwork in general, love when you have multiple Pokemon in there, but the Wobbuffet does take a massive staple. It is the icon of the Team Rocket, let alone going for the classic Arbok and Weezing. Just in general, Wobbuffet going into that second generation of Team Rocket of Jesse James was always incredible in itself as well. But realistically, we are still looking for more information from obviously the Destined Rivals, and we will get more from obviously the Team, the Team Rocket, the Glory of Team Rocket, that naturally will kind of keep coming out, and we will know more and more as we go into the game with obviously more Destined Rivals information coming. But the problem with it is this obvious queue system just does not work. It really is a sad point that Nothing is available. You can sit in queues for hours. Some people sitting in there for 4, 5, 6, 7 hours on a queue, knowing that pretty much most of the product is going to go in probably an hour or 2 hours tops. I've saw rumors of people, or at least bots, getting 140 orders in, and you just can't beat that system. So you're having to go on the kind of secondary market instantly. Now, whether it's right or wrong, you are seeing stuff like this, and it's kind of like priced at a decent one. Obviously, you can see it says read the description. It is mainly for the bots, and as much as I get it, and I do kind of get where they're going with it, I don't know if this is the way. So basically, what this is, and not to go with that seller specifically, but you'll see that it is basically a printout of the box itself. I have seen a few people actually buy this product, which, I mean, I kind of get them doing it, but it's not necessarily the way to kind of combat this. More than likely there's going to, well, I don't know actually. I don't know if there is going to be a legal trouble behind this or not, but I can imagine there might be some complications with it. You'll see that obviously someone has kind of obviously already got the pre-order. So you can see 270 already for the pre-release. And then you can kind of go further down. You obviously see pre-release. You've got best offer. More than likely, that one looks like a bit of a problem. We've got pre-release at 260, best offer. You can see that already like $300, £300 in fact, is outrageous. Now, I do get it, because obviously the Pokemon Center is a very exclusive box. Personally, for me, I'm never willing to pay that amount for a sealed box like that. I would like to say that it would go up, but I mean, I don't even know at this point. I saw this from Nostalgianomics, I believe it is, with obviously the talk about the enhanced version of the booster box for Journey Together, and he said basically if you don't get a reprint, well, if you get a reprint and you don't get the enhanced version, say you just get the bug standard, they don't put that Reshiram in it, then more than likely you will see more of a demand for the sealed product with the enhanced, because you know full well that that card is in it with the stamp. And I feel like this is going to be the same. We don't normally ever see a Pokemon Center almost reprint of the Pokemon Center. Normally once they're gone, they're gone. So that is kind of a product that is more alluded to the fact that it is going to be a hefty price. We see it across all of the Pokemon Center ETBs that they do go for a considerable amount more in comparison to any of the others. Now, obviously, if it was to do the same with a Pokemon Center exclusive for obviously something like Surge and Sparks, you can see in general, like, the prices are not too bad. Obviously, you've got the sold, 146. Don't get me wrong, that is still incredibly more expensive than really you want to pay, because normally these boxes, I believe on Pokemon Center, come out at like 60, 70 pounds. I don't think they go crazy amounts. So already you're paying an extra 30, 40, even 50, 60 pounds more than what the box actually is worth from MSRP, which I can kind of understand. I would happily pay an extra 20, 30 on market price for a specific one if they're not being reprinted, because you know full well that this is a product worth of a collection. Yes, obviously scalpers, all of that, will obviously buy 4 or 5, buy a case, buy 5 cases and try and ship them off straight away. But for a collection piece to get one, I could understand. Like, even if the Destined Rivals comes out and it is coming in at, say, 150 to 200, you know there's no reprints on that, and you know that you are a collector of that specific product, then I would kind of be more engaged to try and do it. Now, you definitely wouldn't be opening up a product like that, even if the product was just an absolute fire, that you knew you were guaranteed the best pull. That is a sealed product collection. You can just go and happily buy the ETB normal and pay half the price for it. Like, if we go for a normal ETB for Surge and Sparks, I'm assuming we're going to get it still above MSRP. Like, normally you're looking at 40 to maybe 50. Some of them going for 70, as you see. You will obviously find some of the Pokemon Center as well. But naturally, you should end up paying a little bit less compared to the Pokemon Center. And I can imagine pre-orders are going to still go off. And I can imagine when we look at the Journey Together, they're going to be roughly the same as Destined Rivals. And we go into the normal ETB here. You can see the pre-order 73, 78. So realistically, like you've got a few decent ones, 124 for the Pokemon Center. It will be interesting to see where the Destined Rivals do go. Obviously, this is a brand new launch and everybody is trying to basically get the people who want it instantly, want it straight away, will not wait, will not take the gamble that these drop down. And it's quite funny that quite literally you see 78, but clearly they paid 50, if that is real, obviously. But in general, that is kind of seen as okay. Like you normally will pay the 60, 70 for it. As you go further back, if you look at an ETB of something like Evolving Skies, which is just a crazy comparison for it, but say something like Astral Radiance ETBs, you'll obviously see them coming in around the same sort of price, a little bit less because the hype wasn't quite as there. You look at the Evolving Skies and they are absolutely crazy in terms of the pricing. So you've kind of got to be very wary of what you actually choose there. Now, when it comes to the Destined Rival in a set itself, would you stay away from it looking at these kind of products now? Personally, I wouldn't buy anything like that. And especially when it comes to investing at an ETB price of like £200, I mean, you're asking for fire there. The hype could, well, I mean, the hype's not going to die down anytime soon because they are guaranteed money. And that's mainly because anything anybody touches at the moment when it comes to Pokemon, if you can get it anywhere near MSRP, you're pretty much gaining money. And that's where scalpers, buyers, investors will always just go and buy everything. Because naturally, if I go and buy 150 ETBs at the market price, even if it is just a bug standard ETB of, say, Destined Rivals, and it comes in at £50 a box, even if you go for £60 a box at this point, you could probably chuck that out at 100 easily without even doing any legwork. It would be instant profit, and it's the same with Prismatic. Now, obviously, Prismatic was a little bit harder. The pricing was just absolutely crazy from launch, and it just kept on going that way. We saw very hard pull rate, we saw very little supply in it in terms of what people are willing to pay, because obviously packs instantly rose up to about like 12 to 13 pounds. I definitely have seen them come down a little bit. We're seeing 8 to 9, and obviously restocks, reprints hopefully will come in at some point, but if not, you're kind of finding the product now just being sealed. With Prismatic, if you go and buy a poster collection, a text sticker, if you go and buy just even an ETB, the problem is that the pull rates are difficult if you don't consider the Pokeball reverse holo as a hit. Obviously, Master Balls I think everybody loves. They're obviously a great price and a very hard thing to master set. The SARs, very difficult to get. The trainers a little bit easier, and to be honest, I've seen a lot more golds recently than I have any of the SARs, and it came to a point where it was like, a God Pack or a Demigod Pack seemed to be easier than an actual just normal SAR pull. We were seeing a lot more God Packs than we was general SARs. Now, obviously, with Destined Rivals, with Journey Together, we are seeing the illustration rares back and not necessarily getting the Pokeballs. Well, I personally love the Pokeball reverse holo. I think it's a great thing to have. I loved it in the Japanese 151, and to be honest, Pokemon 151 in English could have been a lot different if they had that as well, and even then that set blew out straight away. Like, it was a crazy one once we got past the first wave. I think you could have got product relatively easy for 151, and as an investment point of view, you knew full well, give it a year, not even a year, give it half a year, you knew them products were always going up. It's 151, it's the original, it's brilliant. But you could still get product. That was the main thing. And at MSRP, I managed to get a solid amount. Nothing too crazy, but a solid amount. And Prismatic was the complete opposite. I got very lucky with an ETB, and then it was just gone. You had to then wait up in queues. You had to try and pay over the odds for it. And that's when it comes to the product just being not necessarily worth opening, because you know the pull rate's bad, so you're not necessarily going to get a guaranteed money back, or you're not necessarily going to get close to that. If you open up an ETB of Prismatic at, say, what, like 80, 90 pounds, and you don't get a Master Ball, you don't get an SAR, even a gold, to be honest, because I think the trainers are not necessarily that incredibly priced, but if you don't get one of them, realistically, you're looking at more a 30 to 40% return, rather than normally what I see with ETBs. Normally, you get relatively lowest of like 70% because you normally get 1 or 2 illustrations. I opened up 20 Prismatic packs. and I didn't get a single Master Ball. And to be honest, with that, you probably spent around 120 from poster collections, tech stickers, and also a mini tin. I opened up 2 tins, 2 poster collections, and 2, I think it was I want to say it was the tech stickers, or no, the poster collection, in fact. And I didn't get a single Master Ball. Pretty much, I would say I got 2 trainers, and I'd probably have made about 30 to 40 if I was to itemize each item individually, and that was with selling all of the commons, all of obviously the rares and the promo cards as well. So the kind of product back was very difficult, so people would keep it sealed. You obviously know it's a guaranteed kind of profit if you was to go and off it straight away, and if you give it a year, more than likely it doubles in price, because Prismatic is going to be one of them sets like 151. It will just continue to grow. It's a very, very hard set to get on for cheaper than what you want, and Destined Rivals looks like it's going to do the same without a massive supply. And hopefully they have taken it and thought maybe they're looking into it from now, because we've still got till the 30th of May. We've not had the Glory of Team Rocket from Japanese yet. We've only just had Heatwave or Hot Air Arena, so that is the first set that we've seen out, and to be honest, that's coming in now at about 95 to 150 pounds per box currently, and we will see over the next couple of weeks, especially when Journey Together comes out, where that goes. Do people go away from the Japanese and back to Journey Together? Is the supply massive in that? So it is a bit of a hard situation, and I think at the minute in every single Pokemon channel, it is just negative after negative, which it is very hard to get away from, and that also creates kind of that bubble of Pokemon's kind of doomed in that sort of pricing, and we know it's not. We've went through these ups and downs. Yes, this might be one of the biggest kind of ups that we've seen in a long time, but naturally markets do correct themselves. Once you find, and it will mainly come either A, if the supply is just absolutely crazy. To be honest, I don't know if that's even possible at this point, but it will come when people can't make instant profit. If I can't buy a box, for instance, of the black and white set, say we go one more ahead, it's not going to happen that soon, but say we get a black and white set and scalpers buy 1,000 boxes, hoping to triple, double, 4x their box, and maybe they make £5, £10 per box, maybe even, say you go even lower, say you go £5 per box, the likely chance that they just go and find something else to manipulate instead is very high. And what you'll find there is mainly the supply will disperse more across the wider net. At the minute, we've got loads of people getting getting the whole product. So if you've got 1,000 people who normally buy Pokemon products, you'll normally get them, say they get 50 boxes each, everybody's great. Now we're getting 5,000 people. It's a rough number, it's estimated, it's not actually real. If you've got 5,000 people getting boxes, but say the scalpers, the bots are getting 50%, and then your normal people are getting the other 50, like that was ever happening, you then find that the supply is so much lower because you've got such a new entity coming in, just absolutely ripping the price and trying to sell it at a massive value increase. And once they can't do that, or they can't do it in an excess of where they're making crazy amounts of money off it, they more than likely will get bored of it. They won't bother taking that risk. If you're risking your whole currency that maybe you lose money potentially, then naturally that is where we'll find the market should hopefully correct. And that's the big thing when it comes to investing with it, is you don't want to be held and got burnt with that. And it's why I would never say go and buy one of these Pokemon Center ETBs at 250, 200, because if the product does get reprinted, Pokemon Center probably not, you more than likely will get burnt and you lose X amount. If it goes down £100, if you've bought a whole case of that, that could be a lot, that could be crippling for a lot of people. So trying to get it at the closest to MSRP and not buying into these special pre-orders is not the way, especially if you haven't got a high risk factor. If you've got a lot to kind of go off and Destined Rivals and you think, I just need one, potentially might be worth it if you're not worried about the profit. Because naturally in, like they say, 3 to 5 years, it might be up in price, and who knows, it could be. It most definitely could be when it comes to a sealed product, but it's not guaranteed. We saw the same with illustration rares. They are obviously single cards, so they do follow a different pattern. Sometimes you see they're up, sometimes you don't, and most definitely they are definitely more volatile. When it comes to sealed products, booster boxes, booster bundles, a lot of ETBs, they do tend to have a pretty good value margin. More the booster boxes than the kind of Destined Rivals ETBs, which is kind of why I would suggest more on the booster boxes. Now, obviously, when we look at the prices, you kind of got to be a bit savvy with this, like we saw with the please read description. If you are looking to buy one of these boxes on pre-sale, make sure you read all the description. You do not want to get burnt by it. Again, I don't know if there is a thing where, because technically you are putting in the description what it actually is, but I can imagine there's a whole sort of thing with that. It's kind of almost trying to sell something that what it isn't. Like, you're showing a picture of this and it's not. It's the same as kind of like them people that used to do the iPhones, where they'd sell the Apple iPhone picture, but it's not the phone, but they'll sell it for $1.50 to you. I don't know what actually happens with that, but the booster boxes tends to be a better product to go for. They normally are the ones that really kind of go with the price, because naturally you only need one ETB for the promo pack, and then you want to go for the most packs for your money. So if you're looking for the ETB of obviously a Pokemon Center, you are probably looking for the collection value of it, or either the collection stamp on the promo card. Same with obviously the normal ETB, you're looking for the promo card, and then that's all you need. The 9 packs, the player guide, you don't need multiple of them. Whereas the booster box, you more than likely want multiple of them. They are going to be what everybody sorts after once they've opened up 1 or 2 ETBs for their collection, and then maybe have the box for their collection as well. And to be honest, there's no problem that you will find these Pokemon Center ones. You'll probably find the empty box at some point, and to be honest, they probably will go for about £20 in themselves, and I would happily buy that because it is the collection piece that I'm not too fussed about it being sealed. When it comes to the booster boxes, it's an interesting one to see. Like, you can see these read descriptions. I can imagine a lot of these will have that printout value. So like I say, when it looks at trying to buy them, just be very wary of them. But if we do look at, for instance, the Journey Together booster boxes now, because we are coming out in 2 days officially, it will be very interesting to see where they truly go. Like, we've got 150, 180, 160, 200. So the product is absolutely flying at the moment. Booster bundle, you got pre-sale times 6. I was going to say, there is no way that you're selling just one of them for 200. You got 180, so you're kind of looking between the 150 to 180 mark at this point. You've even got them in hand as well, which is just incredible in itself. So it is very interesting to see where they go, and if they are kind of at this sort of price, it will be interesting to see where they go in a month's time, and then in 2 months' time, once we get close to Destined Rivals, whether we see more of a restock coming with them, or at least a reprint into them. And I can imagine Pokemon will go absolutely crazy with them. And the big thing is, they've only just come out. We are seeing product. You'll get so much product still coming out with Journey Together packs in them, Destined Rival packs to come in them, because these are main series sets. Prismatic 151 are the special sets. They don't have these massive high-end booster boxes to be able to boost the kind of amount of packs that you can find. They are ETBs, predominantly booster bundles, and then more than likely just your standard prismatic kind of sets. So your blisters, your obvious text stickers, your tins, they are the only places that you can get them in. We saw obviously Blooming Waters come out a year after. Now, don't get me wrong, they were still very difficult to get, but that was the whole point of a special mini set. These are main series sets, so they might have a little bit of a different volume to them. But the big thing is like we've seen with Surge and Sparks, that is kind of what we're going off at the moment, because that was the last main series set prior to this massive launch, and we're seeing them upwards of 200. We just saw 190 there, which is actually pretty reasonable for what we're seeing these sets go to. So it will be very interesting to see where we can go. Let me know if you've managed to get anything in these, but it is a very, very wary place to go with. Don't just go and buy instantly on everything, because we might see a lot of reprints, a lot more products coming out, and if you can't find them for a more reasonable price, and especially if you are trying to invest, you want to get the lowest amount possible. But Destined Rivals, the queue system, has proven flawed once more. Let me know if you managed to get anything, and catch you all for the next one. Peace.